It's majority owned by the people of Brazil, the taxpayers. The government of Brazil own Petrobras, the majority of the shares. Last year, Petrobras was the first oil company that was allowed to drill in the Gulf of Mexico after the massive disaster in 2010. A few days before they were due to start pumping the oil, one of the wells broke off. 130-ton buoy floated away, almost hit another rig. And if the oil had started pumping, just a few days later, if it started pumping when it broke, it would have been another Gulf of Mexico disaster in the same place. So this is a company that our government has given us.
This is the company that our government has given permission to come to New Zealand. They have the rights to the Raukumara Basin. They have a 5-year permit to explore and to drill a well, an exploratory well. The Raukumara Basin is up to 3,000 metres, 3 kilometres deep. The Gulf of Mexico disaster was in just 1,500 metres of water. It was also an exploratory well. So our government has given permission to this company to come and do what the Deepwater Horizon well was doing in the Gulf of Mexico when it blew out, the blowout preventer failed, and it spewed oil into the Gulf for 4 months in 2010. The company has a really dubious record of having one of the worst disasters in oil production history when its P36 platform broke off and exploded, killing 11 workers in 2001 and sunk into the sea off Brazil. Since then they instituted a whole range of safety measures and claimed to have learned their lesson. Though unfortunately last year at least 3 of their workers were also killed on Petrobras rigs. They spilled 3,000 barrels of oil into the sea off Rio de Janeiro in November last year, and Chevron, so they own 30% of that rig along with Chevron, which are now facing an $11 billion lawsuit from the Brazilian government. So this is the kind of company that our government says is okay, she'll be right, and come in and help yourself to the oil and gas off the East Cape.
No way.
Manu Caddie and Aotearoa are standing up and saying no, they're under attack, under siege, and they're not going to stand for this. We saw Elvis Teddy fishing in his traditional waters off the Manu Caddie lands last year, and our Navy and police were sent in to arrest him and they could only gauge for practicing their traditional fishing and undertaking their rights in their traditional waters in the face of the seismic survey ship that Petrobras had hired to come and do its survey work for it. So Petrobras have until 2015 to drill their well. In August this year they'll decide whether the information from the seismic survey was enough to proceed to the next stage, and if they like that, then in another year or 2 they'll decide to go on and drill their exploratory well, so they have until 2015 to do that. Manu Caddie, Aotearoa and people around the East Coast and around New Zealand, I think, are saying that that's not going to happen, not on our watch. We're going to have to answer to our kids and our grandchildren and their children what we did when we let these companies into our waters and onto our land. And there's many people that are now saying that's not going to happen, and put their bodies on the line and get in the way of these corporations that our government have given permission to, that our voters elect these governments who institute these policies to allow this kind of stuff to happen. Of course, the companies are really just filling a demand in the market that we all create. We all drive our cars and we all use our flash megaphones, our cell phones and our bicycles. All that all takes minerals, and we're all responsible in some way for creating the demand for the oil and gas. So the reality is, if there's anyone in the country that knows how to survive on a little bit of a resource, it's Manu Caddie and Aotearoa. They're the ones who said that the jobs promised the cost is too high for those jobs. The promises of jobs are dubious at best anyway, but and if there's anywhere in the world, anywhere on the coast that needs jobs, it's the East Coast and Manu Caddie. But they're saying it's too much of a price to pay. Not prepared to do that.